Welcome to 10 Mistakes Most Make with Health, Fitness, and Wellness. Today I want to talk to you about those things. But before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jeremy Belter. I've been in the fitness industry for 14 years. I've trained over 20,000 training sessions. You can see there, I'm a best-selling author, entrepreneur, and transformation coach. What I want to talk about is these 10 mistakes and how so many people are making them. And if you are making these mistakes, that's okay. We can alleviate them, and I'm going to have a couple of ways that you can change. And after we're done, and I'm going to make one free gift and then one offer just to continue the conversation. Nothing to sell on here right now. Just wanting to help you on your journey. So the 10 mistakes most make. First, before we begin, let me just tell you that nothing in this presentation represents medical advice. You should always check with your doctor before beginning any fitness, nutrition, or supplement plan. You assume liability for your health and fitness choices, obviously. Pictures are used with permission from Pexels.com. So let's get right into it. Mistake number one, these are in no particular order though, is the all or nothing syndrome. You're probably seeing this happen right now. If this is you, we don't need to do everything in one day or 1 week or even 1 month. 21-day challenges, all these challenges that are out there, it's all or nothing syndrome. We got to have the results right away. And I'll never forget one time when I was training a client, when there was a guy in the gym specifically, and he had been working out a lot. And I remember coming up to him, it was like the beginning of the year, this was years ago. I remember coming up to him and saying, you know, you might want to slow down, or you might not want to do so much now. There's always time in the future, something like that, and maybe you should cut down on your cardio. And I'll never forget what he said. He goes, you can never do too much cardio. And I remember thinking, you can definitely do too much exercise. And I know that maybe this isn't your problem, but you can definitely push too hard and do too much and not be at your level and your ability. So that's the all or nothing syndrome. It's one of these things where people think they got to have all the results right away. Then not having a vision or a plan. So if you don't have a vision or a plan, you're really just kind of going through the motions and you are not really focused. And that's really a key of seeing the results that you want. You don't want to just go through, and it's been proven and studied, this has been proven and studied, that when you write down your goals, when you have a vision, when you have a plan, you're much more likely of having success than if you don't. Not getting help. And what I mean by this is having a fitness coach or nutrition coach or having somebody to help you through this journey is one of the best things that I believe that anybody can do, especially if you're not where you want to be. Now, if you're where you want to be, that's fine. If you have all the results that you want, then you probably wouldn't be watching this anyways. But in some areas of life, some people struggle with, in some areas that they don't. So, and you can see in the picture in this guy, he looks like he needs help. And, you know, there are people out there to help no matter what. And you just got to search and find it and be willing to invest in that help. The illusion of results. See, I love this guy here. He's floating in the air and he's gotten results. Well, he's just doing magic. And so what happens with people is locally, let me give you a quick story. So locally, years ago, I don't even know if they're around anymore, but they were giving fat burning injections, quote unquote. And what it was is HCG. And I don't know if you're familiar with it. It doesn't really matter, but the point is they also told them to eat like 500 calories. And then people thought, wow, this works so well. Well, anytime you starve yourself 500 calories, you're going to lose weight. But that doesn't mean it's a good weight loss plan. It's not a good long-term plan. And so, by the way, don't do that. So, you know, you should always check with your doctor. I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek. You know, there's so many plans and fads and stuff out there when really, you know, it really comes down to habits over a long period of time. And as it pertains to weight loss, calorie restriction, I mean, nothing magical there. But a lot of times people need that peer support or a coach to help you through that journey. But back to the illusion of results. So they have this illusion that their results are going to, they're fast and that they're going to sustain. And I'm here to tell you that it wrecks the metabolism. That's not what this is all about. It's not about explaining and getting into the weeds, but the illusion of results can really cause a lot of issues and can cause people to think that they're doing well when maybe they're not on a good plan. Overthinking. This is one where the person researches forever and they can't make a decision and they do nothing instead. So, and I'm guilty of this, instead of making a decision, they'll just research and find the best possible efficient option. And although I do think that you should, especially if you're going to hire a personal trainer one-on-one or in a group training session, group training type program, you're going to want to find the right person for you. But overthinking and taking forever when just taking action, that's one of the slides just in a little bit here. But overthinking can be a big problem. So you want a coach that's going to help you through all of these things and all of these issues. Expectations. This is one of the biggest ones that I have noticed, is that people will compare to what they see on Facebook, on social media, the Instagram stars, the movie stars, TV, all of that stuff. You know I'm not an Instagram star, or I'm not a famous person, but when it comes to results, I can tell you this. Tried and true. It's called the compound effect by Darren Hardy. He talks about it as where gradual improvements over a long period of time, but a lot of times coaching can be beneficial for that. But the expectations, the guy on the right, you don't know what he did to get there. The gal on the left, you don't know what she did to get there. Maybe she was a gymnast. The guy on the right, maybe he worked out his whole entire life. Maybe he was a professional athlete or a athlete of some sort. We just don't know, and you can't go by that. One expectation you can have is to give your all and give 100%. John Wooden says, and I paraphrase that, if you want results, or if you want to be successful, then do your absolute best. And I'm paraphrasing, but the point is there that doing your best is really the key and the main point behind expectations. Do your best, and then you can just expect everything to fall into place as long as you're doing your absolute best. And if you can say that in your heart, like John Wooden says, then that's what success really is. And you want to compare your expectation. I think it was Matthew McConaughey that said, you want to, and I paraphrase again here, but you want to focus on your best self and your future self. That's really who he said his hero was. And I tend to agree. It's you want to focus on the best that you can be, and that's all that really matters, and not compare to other people. I'm giving away future slides here. Excuses and denial. So this is a huge one. People are in denial of really how fit they are. I've had clients in the past where they really haven't worked at it, and they're like making all these things and saying how great they're doing and stuff, and I'm happy for them, and if they're happy, that's fine, but they could go so much further if they weren't in denial about how they really are in fitness. So having self-awareness and not being in denial is a key, and not making excuses. So I hear a lot of times people talk about time and money and how they're hold them back, but some of the busiest people and people will invest in what they value. They'll spend the money where they value. So, and your health and fitness might not be a top priority now, but at some point it's going to be. As we age, the older we get, it is true. The harder it gets, and then if you don't make your health and fitness a priority, it will be forced to be a priority at some point. So I don't mean that to be fear-based. I'm not doom and gloom kind of guy, but I just want you to understand that excuses and denial is part of this, and just be aware that maybe that's an excuse that they don't have time and they don't have the money. So really, let's get rid of these excuses and denial about whatever it is for you, whatever it is for me. All of these things we all struggle with, or some of these things we all struggle with, but being aware of them is a key, and then working towards being better. Mindset and belief. So this is another one that I've noticed that people that I've worked with is I'll never forget one client one time said, I thought as soon as I paid you the money, one-on-one training, which you can imagine, and she said, I thought once I paid you the money, the results would just start happening. And she finally realized it took a while to get her mindset and her belief in herself to a point where she said, it basically, that's when it all starts. That's when the work starts and the effort and the mindset and the changing your beliefs and just really believing that you can achieve what you want to achieve. Comparing to others, similar to other ones that we talked about, comparing to others can be a big issue. You want to compare to yourself only and your future self and your best self. And because comparing to others can lead to maybe jealousy or envy or all these things which don't help with stress. And you're on your own journey. Do the best that you can. Do what you want to do. But I do want to encourage you that you want to focus on the things that are actually important. I think too many times we focus on, people think that exercise is going to be a miracle worker, and and I'm not saying everybody should exercise on a regular basis and they should exercise progressively, but I see these marathon type workouts and these people that are just exercising all the time, and they're really not focused on the importance of progression and strength, or they maybe just kind of aren't giving it 100% or even anything close to it, and they're really not. And that's where a good coach can help you with and call you out if you're not really working hard enough, or if you're not doing the things outside of training, which are so critical for the results that most people want. So back to comparing to others, just don't do it. So procrastination, and this is already the last one here, is procrastination. Taking action is key. In our society, having efficiency and being able to do a lot of things that are easier now because of technology is an amazing thing, but there are certain things that, and health and fitness is one of them, there's just no easy way out of it. I try to make it as easy as possible in terms of the amount of time that you put in, but in terms of it being easy and taking discipline and consistency, I think it's amazing that I can talk to anybody, type to anybody instantly across the world even, and I can communicate with people all over the place. Like this webinar, for example, who knows how many people will hear it and who will hear it. But the point is that as it pertains to health and fitness, there's really no easy way out. Professional athletes, they didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to be a professional athlete. They put in, day out work. There's a guy in Wisconsin that ended up playing Division I basketball. He's only 5'10", 5'11", but he worked at it, from what I understand, 4 to 8 hours every day since he was a young child to be able to play college basketball and just work on his craft. And Pistol Pete, if you guys know who that is, he worked on his craft. Entrepreneurs, business owners, singers, artists, they all work at it. So if you want to have the body the body and the health and wellness that takes hundreds, if not thousands of hours over time, then you have to put that in, okay? And I'm not saying it all should be done in one day, but little bitty improvements, 1% a day for the next 2 years will get you there. But if you do nothing, and I'm all for sleep and rest and stress management, all these things, in fact, we talk about this in my programs, but procrastination can really stop us from beginning. One of my friends and mentors in the industry, he says, round to it. What's a round to it? And when we get around to it, it just never happens. Or the signs that say, I'm going to start my nutrition plan tomorrow, or I'm going to start my diet tomorrow, or I'm going to start my exercise program tomorrow, those signs, well, tomorrow never comes, or tomorrow is always the next day. So taking action is usually better than not in almost all areas of life. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys some opportunities to go ahead and get started, continue the conversation. So I'm going to make a link for you guys to get the complimentary gift, which is 197 recipes and 101 meal plans. An amazing gift to you guys. You can have that as complimentary, free of charge, just my way to saying thank you for being on this and to help. Then also you can get, if you want to continue the conversation and want to see if you might be the right fit for, I have in-person training and online training, and I'm really excited about my newest program, and it's 5-minute transformations. And if you think that you might be the right fit for that, go ahead and fill out this information and we'll have a look and see, and check and see if we can work together, and if you think that you might be able to have the transformation that you desire. So with that being said, those are the top 10 things that almost everybody makes when beginning, or if you're plateaued, or whatever your reasoning is for watching this, there's probably one of these that you can work on and need help with. I hope that was helpful for you today, and I look forward to your transformation.